Nebuchadnezzar, one of the four most powerful rulers in history frequently mentioned in sources, was the king of Babylon. Alexander the Great, who traveled the world far and wide, and the great ruler King Solomon the prophet, who ruled over jinn. King Nimrod, whom I mentioned in another video, and the king you are about to watch now, Nebuchadnezzar, whom I think will leave you astonished by the end of the video. If you think these events happened thousands of years ago and don't matter, you're mistaken. If you're curious about how a 2,600-year-old king who has turned to dust still influences the world today, let's first go back to the era when it all began. If you are interested in these types of videos, subscribe to the channel and please click the like button. If you're ready, let's start. During the late 7th century BC, as the Iron Age neared its end in the Near East, the powerful Assyrian Empire was finally overthrown and succeeded by the Babylonians under King Nabopolassar. Although Nabopolassar established the Neo-Babylonian Empire, it was his son, Nebuchadnezzar II, who expanded the new empire and restored Babylon to its former glory. This marked the first time in a millennium, since the reign of Hammurabi, that Babylon rose to dominate Mesopotamia. According to the Bible, Nebuchadnezzar became known as a cruel and oppressive enemy of the Jewish people. Nebuchadnezzar II, the eldest son of King Nabopolassar, was born in 642 BC and likely named after his grandfather, who was a governor in Uruk under King Ashurbanipal. The name Nebuchadnezzar comes from his traditional Akkadian name, Nabu-Kudurri-Ur, meaning, "O Nabu, protect my firstborn son." Nabu, the Mesopotamian patron god of scribes, literacy, and wisdom, gained prominence during the first millennium BC after being identified as the son of Marduk, the most powerful god in the Babylonian pantheon. As crown prince of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar participated in his father's campaign to conquer Haran in 609 BC, where the last Assyrian ruler, Ashurbanipal II, had gathered his remaining forces. The Battle of Haran led to the final defeat of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar was then promoted and began leading troops alongside his father. Together, they led an army into a mountainous region north of Assyria in 607 BC. After his father returned to Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar continued leading independent operations, serving as commander-in-chief and securing major victories that solidified Babylon's status as the new regional superpower. The Egyptian pharaoh Necho II attempted to restore the fallen Neo-Assyrian Empire by leading a large army into former Assyrian territories and establishing a base in Carchemish. Nebuchadnezzar confronted Necho and his forces in 605 BC at the Battle of Carchemish, dealing the Egyptians a devastating defeat. Nebuchadnezzar's victory at Carchemish resonated through history, appearing in accounts such as the Book of Jeremiah and the Book of Kings in the Hebrew Bible. When King Nabopolassar died in July 605 BC, Nebuchadnezzar rushed back to Babylon to claim the throne before his younger brother, Nabushamlishar, could seize it. Nabushamlishar was never mentioned in documents again, leading historians to speculate that he likely led an unsuccessful revolt that resulted in his demise. Upon becoming ruler, Nebuchadnezzar addressed the patron god of Babylon in his inaugural speech, saying, "O merciful Marduk, may the house I have built endure forever. May I be satisfied with its splendor, attain old age therein, with abundant offspring, and receive tribute from the kings of all regions." After burying his father, Nebuchadnezzar returned to the front lines in Syria to continue expanding his empire. In 604 BC, Nebuchadnezzar and his men conquered Ashkelon in the Levant, capturing its king, plundering its treasures, and leaving it in ruins. Over the next 3 years, other states including the Kingdom of Judah submitted to the growing Babylonian Empire with the help of Greek mercenaries, extending the empire into Palestine. Progress halted abruptly in 601 BC, when Nebuchadnezzar chose to march against Egypt. Despite his victory over the Egyptians at Carchemish, the attempted invasion of Egypt was a complete failure. Both sides suffered heavy casualties, and the failure led to a loss of confidence for the Babylonians. Vassal states began to doubt Babylon's power, calling the empire a paper tiger. At home, Babylonians began disobeying Nebuchadnezzar's orders and even organized rebellions against him. Turning his attention back to the Levant, Nebuchadnezzar led his army into the Syrian desert in 599 BC, attacking and raiding Arabs along the way. A year later, the Babylonians captured Jerusalem in a campaign against Judah. Hoping for Egyptian support, Judah's king Jehoiakim challenged Nebuchadnezzar's authority and ultimately suffered greatly. King Jehoiakim died during the siege, and his uncle Zedekiah was installed as ruler of Judah by Nebuchadnezzar. Further campaigns into the Levant followed, including the capture of Tyre. The Babylonian army swept through the region, leaving a trail of devastation. Nebuchadnezzar took control of all trade routes across Mesopotamia and expanded his empire in every direction. The warrior king was persistent in his policy of expansion, believing a universal kingship was a right granted by Marduk. Following the failed invasion of Egypt, Zedekiah of Judah refused to pay tribute to Nebuchadnezzar and revolted in 589 BC. This led to Nebuchadnezzar's defining moment, the complete destruction of Jerusalem, including Solomon's temple. The fall of Jerusalem marked the permanent end of the kingdom of Judah. Up to 20,000 Judeans, about 25% of Jerusalem's population, were captured and deported to Babylon. Deportation of a conquered city's citizens was a common tactic employed by the Assyrians during their reign. The destruction of Solomon's temple and the Babylonian exile were seen as fulfillments of biblical prophecies. These events strengthened Judaic religious beliefs and began the Israelites' transition from the polytheistic Yahwism to the monotheistic Judaism. Yahwism's pantheon of gods was headed by Yahweh, the national god of the Israelites, along with his wife, the goddess Asherah. Second-tier gods included Baal, Yerek, Mot, and Astarte, each with their own priests and prophets. The Hebrew Bible refers to Nebuchadnezzar as the destroyer of nations and a cruel ruler sent by God to punish the Israelites for their sins. 18th-century English painter William Blake's depiction of Nebuchadnezzar as a mad king is based on the book of Daniel's description, which reads, "He was driven away from people and ate grass like the ox. His body was drenched with the dew of heaven until his hair grew like eagle feathers and his nails like bird claws." Conversely, Babylonian sources describe Nebuchadnezzar's reign as a golden age that transformed Babylonia into the greatest empire of its time. Among Nebuchadnezzar's many achievements were the completion and expansion of fortifications started by his father, building a great moat and outer defense wall, constructing canals, paving the processional way with limestone, and renovating the city's temples. The beautiful Ishtar Gate, leading into the city's heart, was ordered by the king to be surrounded with blue tiles and adorned with images of animals representing gods. Nebuchadnezzar was exceptionally proud of the Ishtar Gate, adding a dedication plaque inscribed in cuneiform. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the faithful prince appointed by the will of Marduk, the highest of princely princes, beloved of Nabu, of prudent counsel, who has learned to embrace wisdom, who fathomed their divine being and reveres their majesty, the untiring governor, constantly concerned with the well-being of Babylon and Borsippa, the wise, the humble, the firstborn son of Nabopolassar. I laid the foundation of the gates down to the groundwater level and had them built out of pure blue stone. Upon the walls in the inner room of the gate are lions, bulls, and dragons, and I magnificently adorned them with luxurious splendor for all mankind to behold in awe. Lions represented Ishtar, the goddess of love and fertility. Bulls represented Adad, the god of storms. Dragons represented the central Babylonian deity, Marduk. Behind the enormous bronze gates protecting the city were solid gold statues and an opulent grand temple. The most famous construction associated with Nebuchadnezzar are the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Legend has it that Nebuchadnezzar's wife, Amytis of Media, missed her forested homeland so much that the ruler built the extravagant gardens to remind her of home. Supposedly, the gardens were built on a slope with terraces supported by pillars of baked brick and tar. A Greek historian, Diodorus Siculus, described the gardens as 400 feet wide, 400 feet long, and 80 feet high. The gardens being so high likely meant that water was carried to the top by a primitive irrigation system. The exact location of the hanging gardens remains a mystery, with skeptics believing they were located elsewhere or never existed at all. After ruling for 43 years, Nebuchadnezzar died in Babylon on October 7, 562 BC. His son, Amel-Marduk, succeeded the throne but was overthrown and murdered within 2 years. The Neo-Babylonian Empire was short-lived, lasting only another 20 years before being conquered by Cyrus the Great and incorporated into the Achaemenid Empire in 539 BC. Nebuchadnezzar was the longest-reigning king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the most powerful ruler in the world at his death. Through his military prowess and remarkable construction accomplishments, Nebuchadnezzar immortalized himself as one of the greatest rulers of the ancient world. Consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon for more videos like this. When the Israelites killed Zechariah and John, 2 of the 3 prophets sent to them, and attempted to kill Jesus, God Almighty sent Herodas, one of the kings of Babylon, against them. Herodas took the people of Babylon with him and marched against the Israelites. He defeated them and entered Damascus. The army commander Nebuchadnezzar said, "If I conquer the people of Bethlehem, I will kill them until there are none left, and their blood will flow like a flood from the center of my camp." He ordered the continued killing of the Israelites until he achieved this goal. Nebuchadnezzar entered Bethlehem. When he stopped at the place where the Israelites were offering their sacrifices, he saw blood boiling there and said, "O Israelites, what is this boiling blood? Tell me the story of this blood, and do not hide anything from me." The Israelites responded, "This is the blood of a sacrifice that we offered, but it was not accepted. We have been offering sacrifices for 800 years, and all were accepted except this one." Nebuchadnezzar, "You have not told me the truth, Israelites. If our situation had remained as before, our sacrifice would have been accepted. But the kingdom and prophethood have been cut off from us. Therefore, our sacrifices are not accepted." Nebuchadnezzar ordered 770 Israelites to be killed in this blood, but it did not calm down. Then Nebuchadnezzar ordered 7,000 young men and women of the Israelites to be killed in the blood. He ordered 700 of the Israelite scholars to be slain in the blood. They were slaughtered, but the blood did not calm down or cool down. When Nebuchadnezzar saw that the blood had not cooled down, he said, "Woe to you, Israelites! Woe to you! Tell me the truth. Persevere on the commandment of your Lord. Your reign was prolonged until you did everything you wanted. Tell me the truth before I kill you all, leaving no man, woman, or child alive." When the Israelites saw that Nebuchadnezzar was strict and ruthless in killing, they told him the truth. "This blood is the blood of one of our prophets. He used to guide us and prevent us from doing many evil deeds that would anger God. If only we had obeyed him, he had warned us about this day. But we did not obey him, and we killed him. This boiling blood is his." Nebuchadnezzar, "What was his name?" he asked. Israelites, "Yahya," they said. Nebuchadnezzar, "Now you have told the truth. Your Lord is taking revenge on you." He said to those around him, "Close the city gates and bring out all the soldiers of Herodas in the city." They did as he commanded. Only Israelites remained inside. Nebuchadnezzar said to the boiling blood, "O John, my lord and your Lord know that your people have suffered for your sake and many have been killed because of you. Calm down. By God's leave, before I leave no one of your people alive." John's blood immediately calmed down and stopped boiling, by God's permission. Nebuchadnezzar then stopped killing them and said, "What the Israelites believed, I also believed and confirmed, and I am convinced that there is no Lord but Him. Israelites, Herodes, the enemy of God, has ordered me to kill men among you until your blood flows like a flood from the center of the camp. I will do it. I cannot disobey him. Israelites, do what you command," they said. Nebuchadnezzar ordered them to dig a ditch. They dug a ditch. He then ordered them to bring horses, mules, donkeys, cattle, sheep and camels and slaughter them there. The blood flowed and multiplied, and water was poured on it. The blood flowed down into the camp. He ordered that the bodies of the Israelites who had been killed be brought and thrown onto the bodies of the slaughtered animals. They were thrown. King Herodes believed that both the bodies in the ditch and the blood flowing into the camp belonged to the Israelites. He said to Nebuchadnezzar, "Stop killing them. Their blood has reached me. I have avenged them for what they have done." He then left, returning to Babylon, almost destroying the Israelites. Following Nebuchadnezzar's brutal campaigns and the capture and destruction of Jerusalem, the Israelites entered a period known as the Babylonian Exile, which lasted until the Persian conquest of Babylon. Here is a continuation of the story with correct historical information. The Babylonian Exile and the Persian Conquest. After Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed Jerusalem in 587/586 BC, the Kingdom of Judah ceased to exist as a political entity. The majority of the Jewish population was forcibly relocated to Babylon, marking the beginning of the Babylonian exile. This period is significant in Jewish history as it led to substantial changes in their religious practices and beliefs. During the exile, the Jewish people faced the challenge of maintaining their cultural and religious identity in a foreign land. They gathered in synagogues for communal worship and study, emphasizing the importance of the Torah and oral traditions. This shift away from temple-centric worship helped shape Rabbinic Judaism. The exile ended when Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Persian Empire, conquered Babylon in 539 BC. Cyrus is noted for his progressive approach to governance, which included respecting the customs and religions of the conquered peoples. In 538 BC, he issued the Edict of Cyrus, allowing the exiled Jews to return to Judah and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. This period, known as the Second Temple period, saw the reconstruction of the temple and a renewal of Jewish religious life in their homeland. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more adventures into the past. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep seeking the stories that shape our world. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment about our video.